Now, I've got two great speakers here today. Steve Priest from Arbenco and Darren Reaver from Capitalised Finance, and myself, John Kiffin-Hughes from Low Carbon SMEs. Now, we represent three of the organisations that have been involved in the DEEP project, sort of developing it, and Stephen is going to take us through step by step on how to actually use the DEEP platform, and Darren is going to sort of talk us through accessing the finance and suppliers. Now, with regards to webinar etiquettes, please can you keep muted and keep your turn off your cameras, and the webinar is going to be recorded, so you'll be able to access it at a later date when we put it on our various websites. Now, the questions, if you want to ask a question, please use the chat function, and then we'll pose the questions to Stephen and Darren as we go along. So, Stephen, step by step on how to use the DEEP. Can you take us through that, please?
I'd be delighted to. Thank you, John. So I'm just bringing my screen through and share. You should be seeing now the login page for the DEEP platform. So once we register new people and invite them to join the platform, once they've logged in, we have a fairly simple sort of 5-step process to create a project. So what I'm going to be sharing is a series of screenshots rather than the live platform, but we'll be releasing the live version next week for the trial 3 stage participants. And I'm going to walk through now what details we need to have to fill out a project and to produce the results for you, and then show what the results look like and the sort of functionality that we can produce from the platform. So, starting the project, we first have to identify a project name, in this case just demo, and then we're looking for a postcode and at least part of the address so that we can look up the location, and if there is an EPC on the building, we're going to be able to harvest some information about the property itself. So within the name and location function, that's all we're looking to do. Once we click Save and Continue, it'll then find any EPCs at that location that match the address. In this case, I've selected the first one here, a unit within a shopping centre, which is a good location to demonstrate because there are lots of EPCs. But importantly, you can see we can harvest the floor area from the EPC. And once I click Select on that one and move on, we're up to the building type, the 3rd tab across the top already. And you can see that we've harvested the 394 square metre area from the EPC. There's a few other bits and pieces that we need to fill in. So we've identified that this is retail. If you select that it's a leased property, it'll be looking for the lease end date so that it can maximise savings within the rental time available. Once you've completed that and click on Save and Continue, we then move on to the occupancy data. So this is for you to be able to tell us the times of day when you're using the building, the working pattern of the building. And there's a button down at the bottom here for normal business hours, and because I selected retail, that's populated a sort of 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. But actually, you might well be open on Saturdays and Sundays now as well. And all you do is click the hour boxes for every hour that you're planning on being open, and we'll use that as the operating pattern to assess your energy consumption against those working hours. And that's it. That's all of the information that we need about the building and the operating pattern. And what we're now on to is the energy data. So what the platform uses is the half-hourly consumption data from the building. And that's what we need, is the hourly or half-hourly consumption data from your smart meter or your energy supplier. And at the moment, we've built 3 different ways of getting that information into the platform so that we can process the data and produce the results for you. So the first option is that you're a British Gas customer and working with British Gas on the project. We provided that they've got the data depending on the type of meter that you've got. British Gas will share that information with us. We can upload it to your account and produce the project for you. If you're not a British Gas customer, but you do have a smart meter, and you could be buying your energy from any supplier with a smart meter, we can now connect to that smart meter directly and get the information from that automatically from the smart meter. If you're not got a smart meter, but you do have access via your energy supplier to that consumption data from your meter, you can just get that data directly and upload it manually to the platform. And that's the third option. So I'll just show you what happens in the individual cases. If you're a British Gas customer, we need a letter of authority. So we need your name, the British Gas account number suitable for your electricity. So it's a 9-digit BG account number, and we need your permission. So we need a letter of authority from you to say that we can contact British Gas and get your energy data on your behalf. So you download the letter of authority, you fill it in, sign it, and you post it back to us, and you you select it on here and upload that file back to us, and then we can connect with British Gas and get your data. If you're not a British Gas customer, but you are a smart meter owner, then we need a different set of consent. So we have to go through the privacy notification statement and then a set of consent forms to automatically upload the data. And I'll show you what happens if you click that automatic one now. We then need a copy of the first page of your energy bill. So we have to prove that you are who you say you are and that you're associated with that particular building and that you're responsible for the energy data at that building in order to be able to communicate with the smart meter and get the data directly. So we need a copy of just the first page of the energy bill, and then there's some boxes to tick as the consent and permission. And these look like this. So once you tick on that option, you'll receive an email with the privacy notification. We need permission to talk via CGI to the smart meter itself. We'll get your data for the last 13 months if it's available, and we can continue to talk to it for the next 12 months if that's appropriate. You put your name in there. I'll give you an example of what that looks like here. So we need an energy bill uploading. We tick the 4 boxes, we put our name in, and then you save and create project. And what that will do then is to send us the necessary consents and permissions. We'll work with CGI and we'll go backwards and forwards in the background, acquire your energy data, upload it to the project, and then within a day or 3, you'll get a notification that the project has completed. Just to go back a step, if you don't have a smart meter, but you do have access to your energy data, you can upload the data manually yourself. And if you'd clicked on that option, then what you'd need to do is to go to create a meter, put in a name, and then you need your energy data in a specific format. And there's a set of templates here, so you can get the appropriate format, upload the data manually. And again, when you click next on that one, it shows you the energy data that I've uploaded in this situation. We've got 12 months worth of consumption data, and again, project created. The software will go away and process it. If you come back to it, so we've created the project, we've uploaded the energy, and we're now looking for the results. While the software is doing the calculation, we'll give you a holding image, but once it's complete, as I say, you'll get an email that will direct you to come back to the platform and have a look at the results. And the results are presented in these stages. So we open up with performance improvement recommendations, and we also show you some energy performance benchmarking of the property, and we show you some details of the energy profile itself. So I've got an example that I can show you. This one is a very, very poor performing building, so I've got lots of recommendations for improvement. You may find that your building is not as bad as this, so you don't get quite as many recommendations. Obviously, for demonstration purposes, I've picked the worst possible. So we have 4 tabs across the top: the performance improvement, the benchmarking, the profile, and the details. And within this one, we split the performance improvements into 3 groups. So we have the cost-effective ones, which are sorted by a reasonable payback period. We have green initiatives, and these are the green initiative ones, which are sorted by carbon savings. And then we also have the quick wins, and I've got the quick wins tab here. These are the low cost, no cost one, behavioral measures, and so on. So going back to the green initiatives, and I've clicked on install an air source heat pump instead of the existing heating system. And in this case, this is assuming that your heating system is direct electric, local electric fan heaters effectively. So very, very inefficient. And in this case, we've got a pretty good payback period and an excellent carbon savings. We've got an upfront cost for the size of building is between £11,000 and £14,000, but annual cost savings of around about £2,000 a year. Now, what we've added recently to the platform are these three markers. So we give an indication of the improvement in thermal comfort that you can expect, as well as the financial and carbon savings. Any improvement in visual comfort, in this case negligible, because it's just a heating system and you wouldn't expect to see it specifically. And the disruption level during the upgrade, which is classed as medium for this one, because it is quite an intrusive measure, installing new heating system within the building. Now, within each measure, you'll see that we've now got three tabs across the top again. So details gives us this situation, and if we click on find an installer, that takes us to the installers. Installers, in this case, I've only got the single installer showing, but Capitalised Finance will also appear on here, as they're also able to arrange for installation of a range of measures. These is not correct details for British Gas. Obviously, this is one of our developers and we're still setting up the page. But as we build an installer network, there will be a group of installers here. And in theory, they will also be sorted geographically to wherever you are, so as to provide three local installers of the specific measure. And if we click on request quote, that will send that details to, in this case, British Gas, in order to register your interest and arrange for contact and production of a quote for this measure. Now, we're also, as you all know, connected to Capitalised Finance. And so we have a financial option as well. So in this case, we had a measure that was £11,000 to £14,000. If you didn't have that capital yourself to spend on this upgrade, we could support with the arrangement of green finance to pay for it. So if we click on the finance tab, we then have some opportunities to adjust the system. So in this case, you can put in a specific quote if you've got one. If you leave it blank, we'll use our standard range. And we can again enter the value, the equipment element of it. We've also got the opportunity to adjust the period of the loan and the percentage of it, and then the software will present a variation in the terms and the expectation that you can have between loan finance and self-financing that option. And if I scroll down, you'll also see a cumulative cash flow graph showing the difference between loan finance, best and worst case, and the self-finance option, and what the cash flow looks like over 20 years. In this case, this was set for an 8-year loan finance for an air source heat pump that would be expected to last many more years than that. And you can see that it generates a positive cash flow even on loan finance in that time. If you like that and you click on the request to finance, again, rather like the installer quote, that will then send a request to Capitalised Finance, and Darren will be talking in a moment about what then happens with the arrangement of finance and the arrangement of that installation. If you've already got a quote, you can put the specific quote in there and upload it so that the finance provider already knows exactly what you're planning on purchasing. Coming back to the tab, so that was the performance improvement recommendations, the first tab on the results page. Just to show you quickly what happens on the other tabs, the energy performance benchmarking. In this case, as I said, this was a particularly appalling building, so that it generates lots of recommendations for me. So we have a very poor annual energy consumption score. This is comparing your building against similar buildings, both in usage type and size. So it gives you an indication of how your building is performing. We also disaggregate the energy, by which we split it up into these 5 different categories of consumption. And in this case, as I've said, there's a very, very poor, but this gives a useful indication as to how the performance of the building in the specific areas has been judged by the system. That disaggregation appears again on the energy profile, along with details of the wastage, so the energy consumed outside of your working hours, and the weather-dependent load, and so on. And the final tab, the project details, indicates some of the data that you've input when creating the project, and allows you to adjust some of those things and recalculate if you need to. And that's a rather rapid but a complete walkthrough of creating a project, the results that we present, and the features that are available from it. So we would welcome as many of you as would like to, nationally, any commercial enterprise with a property and energy consumption where you've got a smart meter. We would welcome you to come and register for our stage 3 trial and have a play with the system and see if we can help you to save energy. Back to you, John.
Thank you very much, Stephen. That's really interesting in terms of presentation and actually seeing how simple it is to actually use the Deep platform and how to get the actual data in there. It does seem quite quick on how long it's going to take you to put the data in about your building.
Yeah, I mean, we estimate it shouldn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes to put the things in. Depending on how you're getting your energy, it might take you a few minutes. If you've got your energy bill in advance, that's easy. You might need then to fill out the letter of authority and then sign it, scan it, and upload it back again, which can take a few minutes depending on how you're doing that. But the whole process shouldn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes. It may then be a few days in the background at our end as we go about the process of submitting that authority, that permission, acquiring the energy data, and then remanaging the upload before you get the notification. But in total time, 10 minutes of your time, and then you're looking at results that are hopefully very, very useful and sensible.
Right. Thank you. That's really great. So the next stage of thing is you've got your recommendations report and you're keen to implement something, but you're not quite sure what to do. So I think it's over to you, Darren, as to sort of explain how you can access finance and use, get suppliers, etc. So over to you.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, thanks very much for that, John. I want to quickly just run through. As Stephen has mentioned, we can provide financing, and actually we can also provide suppliers to be able to provide quotes for projects if you don't have your own suppliers already identified. So just very quickly about us, as you may not have heard about us, but Capitalised Finance has been around for 17 years now, and we are experts in both renewable and energy efficiency financing. And what we're here to do really is to support you to enable those projects that have been identified by the Deep platform. And as I said before, that may be just providing the financing for you to get your own suppliers on board, or it may be that we can actually support the financing as well, the suppliers as well. And why would you necessarily use finance? Well, as we all know, especially in these days after the impacts of COVID, cash is ever more king. And therefore, being able to implement projects without having to use your own cash reserves or your own banking lines actually enables you as a business to continue to grow your core business, as well as investing in energy efficiency and improving your building's performance. We can help provide everything. So, like I said before, we can provide you with quotations, we can provide you with the servicing that goes around that, and also with the financing. And what we try and do is make sure that the costs in the first year of the financing are no greater than the savings that you're going to make on the energy savings that are going to be made. So it's generally always zero net cost. In fact, quite often it's cash positive, which means that the energy savings will be greater than the payments you're making on the finance. The affordable right now, yes, we can, means that rather than necessarily picking off and cherry picking one project at a time, you can amalgamate them together because you're not having to find that budget. So it does mean that you can maybe get more done quicker. Therefore greater improving the carbon savings of the building. Also, it means you don't have to wait for your next budget round. Equally, maintaining existing credit lines, as I've just said, that will enable you to run these projects without having to use your own banking lines up. And tax efficient. There are a number of different tax benefits that you can take at the moment. You have the annual investment allowances, which are in place for up to £1 million of capital investment, and also the new super deduction tax, which may well be applicable for some of these projects. So we can ensure that you are able to take those benefits. So this gives you a very brief idea. This is just a lighting project, but it gives you a brief idea of what it can look like. We can take the information that is provided through the DEEP platform, and we can model it in a way that you can, as you can see in this project, take significant savings, so 37% savings in year one, based on what the finance costs are and what the expected or the current electricity costs would be of maintaining your this lighting system. So by taking those calculations into place and then spreading that cost of that project over a period of time means that you don't have to wait for a 2 or a 3 year return on investment. You can get the return on investment on day one, thus enabling greater carbon savings and greater project efficiencies. As I said also before, is we have a number of suppliers that we work with and support by providing the financing, which means that for most of these projects, we would be able to provide you with a supplier who is accredited to be able to use our finance and be able to come out and quote you on the projects. But equally, we're very happy to, if you've got your own suppliers that have already quoted, for us to look at them and work with you to provide the financing around those projects. What we do in the process is once the information comes through to us, we will contact you, so you will have direct contact from us. We will then speak to you, understand a bit more about the business, about the project, what your requirements are around suppliers, etc. And then we will work directly with you to provide the best financing solution for your requirements, and then do the credit checks and provide the final quotation. We will then obviously feed that back into the DEEP platform to enable everybody to manage that process moving forwards. The final thing is there are also grants that are available. We will be aware of some of those, but we are also very happy if you are aware of a local grant where we can support you and maybe build that into the process as well, if applicable, or even be able to help source that grant. So I think that probably gives an overview of what we do and how we do it. And I'd be welcome with any questions.
So a question for me, Darren.
Yes.
So it seems to me that if you can get savings from almost day one, it's like, well, why don't do it?
Exactly. I completely agree. And it's, there's been, many businesses think, oh, I need to get the payment, the return on investment down to 2 years or whatever the criteria are. But actually, what you need to think about as assets that you would have in your business anyway. So a lot of businesses will be using finance to enable them to upgrade their IT platforms, or have better car fleets or truck fleets, or whatever it may be. That's a very standard thing for businesses to do to enable them to get a better solution. This is no different. However, the massive benefit with energy efficiency is that these save you money as well. So you can use that money that you're saving to actually enable the best solution.
Right. And it's applicable to almost any energy efficiency technology?
Yes, yeah. Virtually all technologies are applicable, but we will work through that with you as a customer when we contact you.
Wow, that's really great. For me, just a little bit in terms of grants, low carbon SMEs. We work in the sort of Birmingham, Solihull and Black Country area, and we do actually provide a grant for energy efficiency measures. So if you're an SME within that area and you want to go, you're interested in finding that little bit extra cash to support the business case in terms of reducing that payback period, then please feel free to get in touch with us. And there are, as Darren said, there are other similar programs across the country. Normally, just contact the local authority or the local growth hub, and they can direct you quite easily to if there's any similar programs running around, in those wherever you are. And that's it really. So thank you very much, Stephen and Darren. Some really interesting development and project. And as I sort of mentioned just now, if there's paybacks from day one, why not get involved? Why not do something and reduce your energy consumption? And the Deep digital energy efficiency platform provides you with simple solutions as to what you should need to look at in terms of reducing energy efficiency of your properties. Adiba, can we have the final slide, please?
Yeah.
So, as Stephen mentioned, we are undergoing the trial to basically prove that Deep works and is effective in achieving energy efficiency savings for your businesses. The trial is open to everyone across the UK. Smart meters needed, and we're going to be over the next 3 months, May, June and July. And if interested, as Stephen said, get in touch with Arb & Co. And there is the contact. You can obviously use the contact details that Stephen gave earlier, but also you can use that email address to get in touch. But please do get in touch, and we'll be only too welcome to sort of support you in using the Deep platform and delivering these energy efficiencies, which obviously we need to deliver to achieve some net zero carbon as a nation, and as to sort of make energy savings as well for your organisations. Thank you for listening, and thank you for the speakers once again, and enjoy the rest of your day.